Somewhere tonight, an algorithm is deciding whether you get approved for a loan, a job interview, or a mortgage, and you may never find out it made the call. There is exactly one place on Earth where a machine's judgment call gets replayed, scored, and argued about by 40 million people within seconds: professional sports. This year, 3 of the biggest sports on the planet handed a piece of the referee's job to a machine. Baseball, soccer, and cricket, all at once, all in public. What happens when that machine gets it wrong is not hidden in a server log. It happens live, on television, in front of you. So this is the story of what sports just proved about trusting a machine's call, and why that same question is already being asked about your life, quietly. Start with baseball, because it gave the machine the smallest possible job first, deciding whether a single pitch crossed a rectangle of air. Major League Baseball's competition committee approved an automated ball strike system for every spring training, regular season, and postseason game this year. The system does not replace the umpire. A human still calls every single pitch, exactly as before, standing behind the plate. Each team gets 2 challenges per game to appeal a call to the machine. Tapping a cap or helmet within seconds. No help from the dugout allowed. Cameras tracking every pitch had already been tested for years, in the minor leagues since 2019, at the highest minor league level since 2022. During spring training testing, teams challenged about 4 calls a game. The machine overturned the human umpire 52% of the time. Break that down and it gets personal fast. Catchers who challenged were right 56% of the time. Hitters, half. Pitchers, only 41. Read that straight. The person calling the pitch was wrong nearly half the time someone bothered to check. That is not a scandal. That is normal human error, finally measured. And notice what baseball chose not to do. It did not fire the umpire. It gave players a button to ask a second opinion and kept a human in charge by default. That one design choice is about to matter a lot more than a called strike. Keep it in mind because soccer tried something far bolder. At this year's World Cup, watched by billions, the machine was not just checking calls. It was drawing the offside line itself in real time. Cameras mounted around every stadium roof track all 22 players. A sensor inside the match ball itself records its movement 500 times a second. Together, they can pinpoint the exact instant a ball is kicked and the exact position of every player's body at that instant, within moments. Every player at the tournament had a full body scan before the competition even began, so broadcasts could show fans precisely which body part crossed the line. FIFA built that visual to solve a trust problem, not an accuracy problem, because whether you believe the call matters as much as whether the call is right. It was not enough. In one match, the review system flagged a foul that happened 100 meters away and 20 seconds before the goal it went on to disallow. Fans did not argue that the camera saw it wrong. They argued that no human watching the game live could ever have connected those 2 moments themselves. One outlet called it a preview of every company's AI rollout problem. Better information doesn't automatically produce better judgment or less anger. Here is the part that applies far beyond a stadium. Accurate decisions that people cannot understand still destroy trust. Every single time, no exceptions. Soccer proved the machine could be exact and still lose the room. Cricket had already spent over a decade quietly solving exactly that problem. Cricket's ball tracking system uses up to 8 cameras filming 340 frames a second, then models the ball's spin and trajectory forward. It calculates, to within about 2.5 millimeters, whether that ball would have hit the stumps. A closer look than most decisions made about you ever get. 2.5 millimeters sounds tiny. On a decision worth a wicket, a match, sometimes a career, cricket decided that margin was still too close to fully trust. So the sport built something baseball and soccer are only now discovering they need: a defined zone where a marginal machine prediction does not overrule the human call. They named it, simply, the umpire's call. When the evidence is close enough, the person on the field wins the tie, not the computer. It is not a compromise born of sentiment. It is an admission built into the rules that a 2.5mm machine still is not infallible. This year's tournament pushed the technology further anyway. Real-time detection now catches every illegal front foot and waist-high delivery a bowler makes. In that one narrow category, human miscalls have effectively been eliminated. The same review that used to take 95 seconds now takes 32. So across 3 sports, the pattern is identical. The machine gets faster and more consistent. The final call on anything close still belongs to a person. That pattern only holds if the machine's claim of accuracy is actually true. In sports betting this year, one company proved it does not have to be. A prediction company claimed its deep learning model could forecast soccer outcomes with 85% accuracy, a number that made it very easy to sell. A whistleblower later revealed the model was not predicting anything at all. It was quietly receiving data stolen from a match referee's own communication headset. The fraud was not in the math, it was in the story told about the math, and almost nobody checking the results could have told the difference. That case is now under legal investigation for market manipulation. It is also the cleanest proof available that an accuracy claim on its own is not evidence. To be fair, legitimate sports prediction models really do work, genuinely forecasting winners at 70 to 80% accuracy using real trend data, no theft required. The lesson is not that AI predictions are fake. It is that the honest ones and the fraudulent ones can look identical from the outside until someone checks. If a stadium full of cameras, referees, and 40 million viewers can still be fooled by that story for a while, ask yourself, who is checking the machine deciding your loan? Subscribe before we go there, because the next part is the reason this video exists, and it has nothing to do with a scoreboard. Hiring algorithms already screen resumes for millions of job applicants, quite possibly including the last one you sent out and never heard back on. If those past decisions favored one race, one gender, one age group, the algorithm can learn that pattern and repeat it quietly at massive scale. Loan approval algorithms carry the identical risk. A model trained on decades of lending data can carry forward exactly the discrimination baked into that history. Unlike a called strike, nobody replays your rejected loan application on television. There is no crowd of 40 million watching to demand a challenge. That is starting to change, quietly. 4 days before this video was researched, new European rules took effect, governing exactly this kind of high-stakes AI. They cover artificial intelligence used in credit scoring, loan approval, and health insurance pricing directly. The sports of everyday life nobody televises. Colorado passed its own law months earlier, requiring real care to prevent algorithmic discrimination in the AI tools companies use to decide who gets hired. In other words, your loan, your job application, is finally getting something close to its own version of the umpire's call. Not a ban on the machine, not blind trust either. So this month, ask your bank or your employer one direct question. Is software deciding this, and can I challenge it? Sports did not fix trust by making the machine perfect. They fixed it by making the machine checkable. Perfect asks you to obey. Checkable asks you to look. So tell me, when a machine makes a close call about your life, do you want it perfect or do you want it checkable? Stay curious and keep exploring the colossal unknown.